Beautiful people. What's good? What's poppin'? I hope you're having a great day so far. If not, that's okay. That's all right. Come on. Sit down with me. We're going to flip that front upside down. We're going to get into another reaction for you. Okay, so I did see a video that interested me that came across my For You page on YouTube. So that's what I'm getting into today. So it's titled, The Worst Family on TikTok Got Even More Disturbing. Child, I'm a little scared by this title, but let's not waste no more time. Let's dive on in.
Almost a year and a half ago, we introduced you guys to the most terrible family on TikTok, the Brazilian Jenkins. A family of then 6, but now 7, living in a 1-bedroom apartment that was absolutely disgusting. And just to catch...
And where was I? Probably reacting to something else. But what? 6 going on 7 in a 1-bed, 1 apart. You know what? That's the thing. I don't judge nobody. But just based off of 6 children, maybe we need to slow down. Especially if we're living in a 1-bedroom with 6 kiddos.
Catch you up if you're
not judging though.
Familiar. This is a family who had a tragic financial situation,
right?
And honestly, there was a lot of discourse about them being poor, broadcasting it on the internet, potentially using their children for content instead of focusing on things like getting a job. But on top of that, they were people who were misusing and abusing animals. I don't even know if we could say that on YouTube. Still continue.
So not only were they exploiting children for content, if that's what this young man is saying, but they were also animal abuse.
Continuing to get pregnant and still avid drug users. They would selfishly sleep in their own bedrooms with luxury items like PlayStations and movies and hell sheets and comforters that were clean and bed frames, and subject their children to sleep in the living room where there were cats, fleas, rats, roaches, and no bed frames in sight. And all because the father didn't want to work and the mommy wanted to be some mommy influencer. Now, back then it was disgusting. What? Everybody was on the side of it being just one of the terriblest situations on the internet. But what if I told you it got worse?
After debating for some time, we decided we will not have indoor cats when we move. Prior to me and Drew getting together, I had 1 cat and he had 1 cat. The cat that he...
The problem I have already is you and the father, correct me if I'm wrong, are sleeping in the main bedroom, but you're subjecting the children to, like the man said, fleas, disease, feces, and just bacteria regardless. I don't know about y'all, but if I was in this predicament, I know a lot of people probably would say what they would do in this predicament. I don't care. Point blank period, I feel like the kids would just get the bedroom automatically. I don't care.
He had was a stray that came in from outside, and the cat that I had was a cat that I received from a friend. Becoming a family, we brought in 2 other stray cats, so at one point we did have 4 cats in this apartment. That seriously did not last long, not even more than a couple of weeks, and then my cat Conscious, who's always been a free spirit, wanted to go outside, and so we let her do so. It's always been my opinion that if you have cats and they act like they want to go outside, let them outside. They're animals. And I don't mean for that to sound any bit insensitive. To me, it seems like you're doing the cat a disfavor when they're asking to go outside. That's where they want to be happy, and you're not letting them go. And let's be honest, as much as we love our fur babies, they sure do mess up the inside. I won't miss waking up to cat hair all over my counters. And yes, I am aware that's probably more than likely why we dealt with a flea issue to begin with. We just wanted our kids to experience having their fur babies inside with all the cuddles they wanted.
Wait a minute.
But at the expense of your actual human babies getting sick from the cats? That's where she's losing me. That's why I'm like, that's where she's losing me. So you would rather risk your kids getting sick and having to take your babies to the doctor because I'm not sure, again, I'm not judging, but you possibly can't afford to take care of your babies on top of these strays that you're also bringing in, and you're already barely able to take care of your babies, but you're fine with bringing in the disease that could possibly affect your babies. No.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to dress up the fact that you threw your cats out? Imagine how bad a household has to be to where the cats are actively running away. I can only imagine if the children had this level of autonomy, what they would be doing. Now, she's trying to dress it up by saying, hey, we leave bowls of food and water outside, but you know, that doesn't mean we're abandoning them. That's cat. There's a term for it called dumping. That's releasing a domesticated cat to the outside wilderness for anything and everything to happen to them. Now, even if this does mean leaving out a can of tuna for for them on the occasion, that is still a crime. At least is ethically bad. This woman is so worried about her family's public perception and their image that even in situations where she honestly doesn't have to share, nobody's even asking for this, or, you know, she could do some right, she is still filming it and trying to garner support from the internet. She's still e-begging. She's still pleading and prodding. She's not even taking handouts from her own mother, who is on social media begging for her to come home with the kids.
Wow.
Watching my daughter make decisions to stay with a man who clearly does not care about her, doesn't care about those children, continues to bring her down, keeps her from even having the sense to reach out to her family and ask for help. I know you watch her videos and you see, oh gosh, she really hates her mom. There's really, I'm not convinced she hates her mom. I'm convinced she knows that I'm the one person who could rescue her, who could set her straight, who could help her come to her senses, and she's too scared to reach out to me. It's hard when you are living in the type of relationship that she's in to admit you're wrong and leave. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
I worked as a domestic violence advocate. I know it doesn't happen overnight. Anyhow, I haven't said a lot because I don't want my words to get twisted and for it to drive an even deeper wedge between me and Stephanie. I hope at some point our relationship can be reconciled and we can move past this. I haven't seen my grandkids in over a year. I have a new grandbaby who I've only seen on social media when other people post videos of my grandbaby. The whole situation is heartbreaking and I have no other words to say about it.
Now her mother's on the internet giving her a place.
I'm praying for her and her mother. I hope they can reconcile their relationship. This is heartbreaking
To stay. And the reason why she took it to the internet is because there have been past situations where people have been asking, where's your family? Where's your mother? Where's anybody who loves you? And she has vehemently denied that anybody is in her place and space, her corner to really support her. But here she is with somebody saying, hey, you need to get out of the relationship that you are in order to protect not only your peace, but your children at this point, who you are subjecting to mistreatment and misbehavior, and come home. But no, Stephanie wants to make it her own way. And the only thing that I don't like in this situation is her painting Drew as the solo assailant of, misbehavior towards these kids in this situation. Now, while he does have a litany, a myriad of claims against other children that he has in the relationship, which I will go into in a second here, it's also true that Stephanie has these same issues. She is doing the same things because this isn't the first time. This is like the second time she's been with somebody who is detrimental to children. Sure, I understand having issues with your mom. Hell, that's why I'm not home right now. Let me not even do that in this video. My mama gonna slap me. But it's clear that the Jenkins are mentally unstable and their inability to make clear and conscious decisions for the betterment of their family is hindering everyone. And the only thing that they can do is just cut on the camera and keep talking about the dumb shit. Wait, hold on one second, other Omar. I've got an opportunity for my other viewers. Look, it's springtime, and that means summer's right around the corner. And that may mean that you want to do normal summer things like vacation. Hit the beach, hit the sand, hit the tan, and get some drinks.
Didn't catch on. We did not find a place, so we will be going to a hotel and getting us
Go support
storage unit. And fuck no, I will not be taking my mom up on her offer on me and my kids going to stay with her. That is just not gonna happen. That lady popping up right now, it sickens me, honestly. And that's all I'm saying about that, because a part of me that's healed on everything that she brought on my past just does not want to spend any time on her.
Let's be real here. The only trauma that your mom brought onto you was you not being able to sneak out while you were 15 and suck on some dick and suck on a crack pipe. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say I'm being too harsh, but the reality of the situation is I'm not even going to invalidate her, because I believe that there are toxic relationships between mother and daughter.
Definitely.
But the decisions that you have made going on into your adulthood, like, I'm inclined to believe that your mom isn't the real villain that you're trying to paint her out to be.
Now I know you're thinking, well, what about the cats if you guys didn't find a place to go and you didn't find anywhere for the cats to go? Despite the mantra that everybody blew me up and wanted everybody to believe, I never wanted to abandon these cats. But from my research, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but all of the shelters and sanctuaries in my area are tapped out for resources. I wasn't able to find any family or friends to take them while we try to figure this whole situation out. It's freaking sad, and I don't think many people are going to understand it, but I had to make the decision of actually calling Animal Control back myself and asking them to take the cats, because I don't want these fur babies actually to be abandoned. That's the last thing I freaking want.
She's so fake pissed off that she would rather throw the cats out on the street and call Animal Control instead of letting her mom even take over the cats. This is literally her admitting to abandoning the cats. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. Omar, she literally said that she called, Animal Control. But there is evidence, there is video evidence of people finding the exact same cats that she had in her house on the street.
Why so bad? Hi.
Oh, wow. And that looked like a kitten. I could be wrong, though, but that looked like a baby.
Do you guys remember how the resilient Jenkins left their cats outside right before they got evicted? This is Shaylin, and she saved the resilient Jenkins cat, Milo. This is how Shaylin found Milo right outside the apartment that the resilient Jenkins were living in. And as you can see, He is missing a lot of hair.
Yeah.
These guys are even so stupid that there's video that I'm not going to play here, even though I'm not an animal rights activist like, PETA or whatever the case may be. I think that this video, these actions are disgusting though. But there's video of Drew, the husband, father, whatever he is, deadbeat in question, literally picking up and throwing the cat out of the apartment. I'm talking about taking Puss and Boots and throwing them out of the apartment while they are cleaning up. Again, I'm not even necessarily a cat person. I don't like animals at all, for real. But I do see the fact that if you take on a responsibility, you just don't throw it out on the street.
No, and I was going to say that too. If you are going to get an animal, regardless of what animal you choose, you are promising that animal a commitment of you. That you're going to feed it, take care of it, nurture it until it passes. So I don't understand why people especially like around the holidays, for some reason there's always like this big surge of buying puppies and kittens. And then right after the holidays, you see a bunch of strays, especially in my city of Memphis. You'll see a bunch of strays running around here now because I just be like, y'all are so irresponsible. And don't get me wrong, like, I do understand life can happen. And life's for everybody and life happens to everybody. So I understand you probably thought, your situation may have been good originally to adopt an animal or, go get you a cuddly pet. And then the situation changed in an instant and, you probably had to just, it changed. But yes, check your resources. If you can't, I would rather y'all give them to an animal shelter, but the animal shelters be so oversaturated now that some of them kill them after they don't get adopted for so long. So it really is hard for me to even just have a say in the matter, but I would rather you guys just check your resources. I can't stand when I see those babies out there on the street and they're dumped. If y'all do not know, I have a bag of kibble. I need to get some cat food. But I have a bag of kibble for dogs in my car, my back seat, waiting. So when I see a stray, I know I'm in a small apartment myself. I already have a dog. I don't really have a lot of extra room for another dog right now, and let alone I don't even think I have the room to afford one right now, just on single income. The dog I have is enough on single income. So I wish I could take more. And man, I just know in the future I have this idea for a non-profit animal shelter. Like, I always wanted to help the strays in this city, but I'm just yapping. But yeah, this is just sad. I just hate seeing animals get dumped in general.
Like this. You don't just abuse this. You don't just let cats go out into the streets that are domestic animals, starve them. They look like they have mange, and they're all types of battered and tattered for the world to then handle your problems.
Yes.
But the way that she's trying to dress it up on social media lets us know that she takes no accountability. This is a family that lacks accountability. And to further hammer in the point of her not being able to take accountability, her and her baby daddy could not find any sort of living situation. She claimed that they tapped out of all the resources. She claimed that they, did what they could, but they could not find a home for their children. So they decided to stay in some sort of motel. On what money? I have no clue. But she's had to move from motel to motel multiple times, painting it as a problem with, whatever system they're going through to get these things. But again, this is totally on the two adults who aren't getting employment to take care of their children.
Come along with us while we update our motel room and give us a little bit more space. Quick Google search of this place will show you what the inside of these bedrooms look like. Motel room's my bed. Now this one that we're moving into, it has a full-size couch that pops into a queen-size bed, a bunk bed, and then the bed is a queen-size bed, not a full. And of course, we're going to move the bassinet over as well, so if you can do the math, that's more than enough bedding for everybody. So this one comes with a full-size fridge. The bathroom is separate from what we're going to be using as our kitchen area. No more toothbrushes right by the cooking area. Definitely going to be a little more comfortable while we're here. I'm going to be brave and show some of the clips of the process. Because while having a village is ideal, it's just Drew and I who do everything.
Not having a village, aka turning down the help that's there for you.
I was just about to say, your mother literally just offered you help. If you would accept the help, that would definitely benefit the kids. Like, forget you two as the adults right now. You need to be concerned for these babies.
leaving this deadbeat that you're with. Motel update, you got kicked out. Like, stop trying to be something that you're not and actively do right by your children. We haven't really touched on it a lot in this video, but her complacent ass baby daddy is no better than she is.
As you can imagine, I was chasing a toddler around and helping a fussy baby while Drew moved everything over. Isn't Drew supposed to be sore right now? Of course he's sore right now, but like I said, it's just him and I, and we have to manage and find ways to get things done.
Now I know what you're thinking. There's a reason why she needs to initiate the conversation of Drew being sore and make sure that that story stays clean. Well, that's because Drew was in the hospital. You know, he's had a lot of medical conditions that have popped up, which is also keeping them and the rest of the family from getting what she classifies as a W-2 job. Verbiage that nobody in their right mind would use.
Drew Jenkins is in the hospital. The dad of the resilient Jenkins just posted a video of himself in a hospital bed with a caption on the video that said, "Hey everyone, I'm not behind bars like I'm sure people thought I would be. I guess I had a 2 to 3 minute seizure, and I didn't come to until I got to the hospital. We don't know the cause, except I was a couple of hours late taking my heart medication." He then posted a video of his head with a slight red mark with a caption that said, "I hit my head on the wall and ended up with a few goose eggs."
Now, for all my seizure people in the chat, 2 to 3 minutes is not necessarily the most medical emergency ever. The prolonged ones are the ones that usually land you in the hospital. You know, those are the ones that are real signs of something going on.
Yeah.
But let's say he did have a 2 to 3 minute seizure. He blacked out, didn't come to until he was in a hospital, which would have him out for, I would think, like an hour, thinking about how, you know, long the seizure was. Somebody had to call 911, an ambulance had to come, or even these pregnant woman and her kids put him in the car. However long it took him to get to the hospital and then wake up after he was admitted, he had to be out for hours at this point, right? He hit his head, he would be so bumped up and lumped. That must have been a painful experience for you. It's crazy to me though how soon after he was able to move his TV and PlayStation into the home or the motel that they were living in. We sniffed this out, and with the help of social media, it is showing that Drew Jenkins is
Look, I've learned something about social media. Y'all are better detectives sometimes than the police. Okay, I've learned that y'all will sniff something out before the police can or a detective can.
most likely lying about the fact that he had a seizure in order to avoid a court date with his old baby mama about some child support.
Drew Jenkins, I know you did not sit up there and play like you was sick and having a seizure to get out of going to court for that child support situation between you and your baby mama Arlita. That's nasty work. That is lazy. Then you put Stephanie. You are the master of manipulation.
I've been with my man for 3 years and I really know him. Man, I've known him since I was a fucking kid. I know his family. There's nothing wrong with him. You know what's wrong with him? He's lazy. He don't want to work. He lied to the system. Now I know he ain't showed up in court. At the end of the day, it's his fault. At the end of the day, he chose this life.
The Jenkins family is full on liars. They are manipulators. They are deceivers. There have been opportunity for them multiple times to get help, to receive some sort of assistance, to receive some sort of report, to make the process easier for them. But at every single turn, they shirk responsibility. And the people that hurt the most are the children in this situation. I think probably the saddest.
I was going to say, they're not even thinking. They don't even want to think like adults either, because you're not trying to fathom the thought that you're possibly giving your kids trauma from your selfish choices.
Thing though is that they continue to get online after all of this continues to be exposed again and again and again. And instead of, you know, coming to the internet and saying, hey, this is the responsibility that I have, this is, you know, the help that I need, can people help me with my fucking substance abuse addiction, they point the fingers at everybody else and take no accountability, to the point where Stephanie Jenkins is in some car on some coked up or whatever type of drug-fueled tirade, you know, going off in the most delirious manner about her life and her family.
There's just a lot of speculation. Like, people know what's what about me and Drew, but I'm not posting anything. I don't even know how to say it. I know that there's this term. You check yourself into the Facebook hospital where you're trying to seek attention. You're trying to seek people being pitied. You know, pity, yeah. You're seeking pity. That's just not me and Drew, okay? We're very to ourselves. And the reason we were going to try to start sharing about his health journey,
But what you're showing to the public and what the public is saying is, yes, you are lying. And yes, you are also lying about not trying to get pity, because pity is exactly what you're trying to achieve.
Was more just because it was on me. He wasn't even fully comfortable with it. It was me trying to slap people in the face with the reality that he's not just some man that sits on his ass and does nothing for his family. We've taken the steps, we've taken self-employment and pursuing different routes for not just his health.
Forget self-employment. What about just like Omar said here, a W-2 job, just to get you on your feet? It don't even matter what it is. A job is a job. You better go see if McDonald's hiring. It don't matter what it is at this point. You have 6 kids, 7 children now. You need to think about them 7 mouths to feed. Not about you and Drew. It's not about you and Drew no more.
But my health included. And I don't give a rat's hairy ball ass about your freaking statements of, well, I got this, that, and the third disease, and my husband has this, that, and that, and he'll still go to work and all that. Guess what? That's your decision. I've seen way too many people, way too freaking young. And when I noticed that, hey, if I keep pushing my body this, that, and the third way, I'm going to cut 10 years off my life. And the same for my man. We're not going to do that. We're going to take the steps to worry about our health and be here for our kids as long as we possibly can. And
you want to be here for as long as you possibly can for your kids. But again, do some people not believe in CPS? Like, I don't wish that on them at all. I don't want their kids to be taken away from their parents. But when we want to look at what is healthy for them, you two are clearly not in a great mind state at all to be sitting here taking care of 7 kids, let alone in a motel. Again, not judging the situation. Lives, I get it. But you two mindset, you might as well. Y'all have the mindset of children, probably. Like, more than likely. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know them personally. But adults don't make decisions like this. Like, let's be for real. A lot of you guys, I look at my analytics, a lot of you are adults like me. Y'all tell me in the comments what would be the right decision. Going to get you a job at McDonald's, or so-called just trying to constantly follow this self-employment route that's still not probably making you any money, but you're fine with your kids living in a motel room. 7 children, mind you. I can see if it was 1, maybe 2. No more than 3, but 7? Y'all two need to be getting help. Y'all need to get the help that y'all need for you two and those babies. I swear, I don't want to see this situation turn for the worse. I don't
care if that bothers you.
At this point, we gotta stop. We've got to stop. Now they don't want to share their life, but they continue to post. Exactly. Now it's about their health and their well-being as to why they don't, get some sort of...
It's just cringy behavior at this point. Very cringy.
Of employment. Literally, you said you were avoiding W-2 jobs because they don't work with your schedule and all this other stuff, but now it's about the health and all this other stuff like that. But the health wasn't the concern when you were having dirty and messy cats in your apartment, pooping everywhere, getting fleas and ticks and rats and roaches on your kids. Like, that was never a health concern for you. Nobody is buying any of these things that you are doing. Look, I never advocate for this. I never do. But if you're going to sit here and try to be disgusting, manipulate the public people, be selfish, and be an addict like this, I don't know if the system would be a better place for your kids. I'm willing to bet.
And I was gonna say that also because so many messed up things happen to children in the system. That's why I was like, I would hate for them to be taken. I promise. I do not want to see it for the worst. I do not want to see it turn bad. I would rather them to be with their parents. But you have to look at it like this. Who's doing more harm right now? Is the parents or the system? Right now, it's the parents. This is so frustrating.
Probably is. Drew, relinquish
Man.
your son to the other partner, you know, the one that you made the baby with, his fucking mother, right? Full custody. None of this other weirdo shit y'all have going on. As far as the other kids in the house, I can only pray for y'all. The saddest part about all this is that they plan on to continue to make babies. There is some nasty fetish about having more babies and still being poor that's going around on the internet. And I can't condone that because this behavior is too common and we got to stop supporting this shit.
We have to. Because why would you want to pass down poverty to your kids? Like, I don't understand that. Why would you want to actively pass that down? Oh, and show them. And then you're also showing the ones that you already have. Oh, yes, this is the way to get through the world. We're going to lie and manipulate the public. This is how you get what you want. What values are you teaching them? That's not teaching them nothing but how to scam their way through the world. And this could possibly also cause them issues later on in the future as they grow old, y'all. This whole situation is just tragic. And it's sad. Again, I can't believe I have never heard of this story. Let me know if y'all got any more of worst family TikTok memes, comps, or if you know anybody else who is just downright bad, I'm guessing, to their family, whether it be their offspring, their own family, mother, grandmother, father, whatever situation may be. If you think I would be interested in it, let me know in the comments so I can get that uploaded for you guys as soon as possible. But yeah, y'all, that was the worst family on TikTok that got even more disturbing. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Leave feedback or suggestions for the next future watch. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.